on that Sunday, we found out that Brother Branham, or Garnet found out that Brother Branham was going to be at the Tabernacle, November the 10th, 1963. And so we made arrangements to go. I think we got up I know we did, got up real early that morning because we had to milk before we went and tried to, get there. And they said, well, you have trouble getting a seat probably. So, which we did. It was real crowded. And but Garnet, he was so excited we were going to go, So, we got in, there wasn't no seats, and we ended up, we had to stand up over to the right side, on the side toward our organ there at the Tabernacle. And, Brother Branham started preaching and all, and I just kept looking around, and I think, all these people's got long hair, these women, and, no makeup, but, they just don't understand. And then I think it was about the time that he was telling about when that gun went off with him. And this is the last thing I remembered, I passed out. Never in my life have I ever fainted or ever passed out before. Never. I wasn't the type to do that. And so I don't know. I know the deacons brought, a handkerchief up there and washed my face in some water. And then Brother Branham told him to bring me up to the front by the platform there, that he wanted to pray for me. This might not be exact words, but anyway, and to pray for me. And then when he prayed for me, see, he said the devil was trying to cheat me out of the message. And he was, definitely, Because, see, I wasn't really interested so much in what he's saying. I was just thinking, well, this is not just, right. And because I went into the church, I had short hair, very short, and makeup on. And I didn't feel any condemnation, I just didn't. I should have, but I didn't, because I didn't know. I didn't realize. And so then, I'm sure Garnet was here praying for me, though. And so they got me a chair right after he prayed for me, right in the doorway that goes into Brother Branham's study there at the Tabernacle. And so, it was just unreal. As I sit there, things just started opening up that I had never seen in that direction. And, that was a hard take. I looked down in my lap because I had this handkerchief that Brother Doc Branham had given to wash my face with, And I looked down at it, and here's all this makeup on it. And, I felt so condemned. And I just, when I come in the tabernacle, I felt no condemnation. Just, I said, well, the Lord had to knock me down and Brother Brown pray for me to see it, but I praise the Lord for it, because it just changed my life, it really did. And that night we went over to, I don't know where Brother Walter Noel and Henry Noel, they're brothers, and of course they're cousins of my husband, about third, fourth, something. And of course we knew them when we went over and visited them. They lived real close then at that time, and we was telling them about it and all, and they said they're going to have a healing service tonight. And I had never seen a healing service in my life, and so he said, well, we're just going to let the cows go, I think. And Dorn said, well, I may milk them when I come back home, whatever time it is. I'll just milk them when I come back home. And that's a no-no, because that'll just nearly ruin your cows, because they'll usually get mastitis. You don't ever skip a milking. And so Walter and Henry, they got ready, and their wife, and they went with us that night to the healing service. We went back to the healing service. And it was just wonderful, And they called out somebody pretty close to us, and it was just really something. And just more things opened up, as he spoke. Just more things opened up that I didn't understand. Like, well, here's something, it just started opening up. And so, we were so excited. So we came back, told Garnet. He was the happiest thing. Of course, the next day we told him, and he was so happy. He was just overjoyed, He was so happy. so this one particular morning, he just looked at the school bus going by. He said, I just don't feel like going. I really got a bad headache. And he said, my neck really hurts. And so that polio epidemic was out in 1960. So I said, well, Garnet, let me take you to the doctor. Maybe you need to go to the doctor. And so I did. I took him and took my son Mark, which was just, he was 3 months old. I left him here with him. And I took my daughter. She was 2. And took him to the doctor. Well, right off, the doctor says, Shirley, I hate to tell you, but he's got the symptoms of polio. So we're taking him up to the hospital and going to do a spinal check on him. 15 years old. And so he said, it'll be about an hour. So my mother and dad lived in Campbellsville, so we went over there and waited. And when I got up to the hospital, the doctor met me. He says, I've already made arrangements in Louisville with the Children's Hospital. He said, which one of the ambulance, really back then, the funeral homes just had a little ambulance, way back. And so it says, which one do you want to call? And I said, well, oh my goodness. I said, I've got to get Dorland, over here so he can go with him because, I had the baby here at home. And he said, no, there's no time to wait. So he went off sitting up in the ambulance. That broke my heart. And so he just started gradually getting worse. His diaphragm was the first thing to paralyze. And they called us, and he was paralyzed, and they was putting him in the iron lung on September the 10th, 1960. But now his mother, she never really followed the message. And I hope, she accepted the Lord. She's lived many years and saw 3 sons die, but she believed if she could get a hold of Brother Branham, that Garnet would get better because he had prayed for her sister down here at Acton in 1955, and she was healed of cancer. So she went straight to the house and asked him to go to pray for Garnet. And on that day, the doctor had said he couldn't possibly get one speck worse and live because he was as bad as he could possibly be. The only thing he could do was barely bat his eyes. He couldn't move. He paralyzed so quick. And, of course, they put him in the iron lung and all, too. And so Brother Branham came, and I didn't see him when he come, but my husband did. Because he said he had that hat on, he wore them hats. And he prayed for him. And he got better. He didn't get up and walk, but he got better, which is the main thing, he got better. And it was a long deal, because for 30 days, nobody could even see him but just the parents. They let my husband in to see him because he was like a daddy to him, because, his mother and dad being divorced, and, he's raised right up here with him. They let him in. But it was a long process. He was in that iron lung for about 9 months. But he always wanted to keep in touch with Brother Branham, and if he ever got a little worse, he'd call, and Brother Branham prayed for him, and he'd be better. And so after then, he finally got to come back home here in the rocking. And that's when, when he got weaned from the iron lung, they let him come back in that rocking bed because that would do 2/3 of his breathing. And so we just, cleared out this room, and his bed was right about here where I'm sitting. He had a little cuckoo clock up here on the wall that he loved, and he, he was happy. He was happy. He had spent his 16th birthday in an iron lung. Boys that age, ordinarily, they're going to get a new car and they start driving or something, but he never mentioned missing out on that, never. And he would enjoy nature. He just loved. He'd look out this window, and he'd watch those birds, and then sunset. I hardly ever think about, a real pretty sunset, what I don't think about Garnet, because he loved that, he could see it there, and he really, he got pleasure out of the simple things. And he made us embarrassed, because here we complain, and he can't even breathe on his own, and here he don't complain at all. And I wouldn't want to leave out the fact that his uncle, his mother's brother, helped care for his personal needs, He was nearly blind, but he was able to give him a bath, and, so he would see about getting the tapes and order the tapes from him. And he didn't have no money hardly, he got a little bitty a little bitty child support check, but he wanted to send Brother Branham that tithe. And so his grandpa said, no, you don't need to do that. Said, he didn't even write you a handwritten letter or something to that effect, you know. And he says, no, but he signed it, and he said, I believe he's right. I believe he's right. And so he'd send a little bit of tithe to that. Another thing that Brother Branham told him was when he told him, and Garnet really looked forward, you know, he really believed he was going to get up, because Brother Branham told him that he might take him to Africa sometime with him. And, you know, but these tapes have gone to Africa. I thought about that many times, you know. That he, you know, he really believed that he would get up and go and get to go with Brother Branham to Africa to witness to the people. He really did. He was such a good boy. Garnet, he just loved Brother Branham's tapes, and he would save his money. He didn't have much money at all, just the little money that he got from child support from his dad. And his dad never come and visit and wasn't close to him or anything. But he loved and he got this little bit of tithe, and he would, money, and he wanted to tithe on it. It wasn't much. And his grandpa, of course, his grandpa wasn't even a Christian, but you don't need to do that. And he told his uncle, he says, no, I want this tithe sent to Brother Branham, because I know he's right. He's right. And he had some favorites. I think one of the other ones might be, this one was his favorite, was The Way of a True Prophet. He just listened to that over and over. On that Sunday, we found out that Brother Branham, or Garnet found out that Brother Branham was going to be at the Tabernacle, November the 10th, 1963. He started getting sick. I believe it was the next day. He got kind of nauseated, like he took it was really intestinal flu. And so had to call the ambulance. Had to be, at that time, Louisville didn't have an ambulance with a portable iron lung. Now, he couldn't be moved in an ordinary ambulance. That's the reason he never could be took to hear Brother Branham, because they didn't have those. Just straight oxygen here to where he had, that wouldn't work, you know, the way his problem was. So one came all the way from Vanderbilt University, from Nashville. So that's where he was in the hospital a lot of the time. And of course they prayed for Brother Branham, but Brother Branham hadn't been able to get back a hold of him, because he was preaching that next service after Souls in Prison there in New York. And so they left word for him to call. So he called back when the service was over. But Garnet had already passed. So then we asked if he would come and preach the funeral. And he said he would if we helped him out till on Monday. I think it was on a Monday. And so we did. But I'll tell you a little thing, something too about Garnet. I just know, you know, he saw the other side. He just, as he lay here, he got weak. Of course, we wouldn't dare turn the bed off. We let it rock, because it would do 2/3 of his breathing. And he kept wanting to tell my husband something, you know, but he couldn't get it out because he got so weak. He was dehydrated is what happened, I think. And Darlin asked him, he said, Garnet, is something good? And he said, if it is, close your eyes. And he just closed his eyes just as tight, you know. So I just know he was seeing over on the other side, you know. It just, you know, it was wonderful. It really was.